This is One on One.
Big-time basketball players, been in Rolling Stone magazine, Sports Illustrated, NBA, Boston Celtics, Denver Nuggets. And I'm on a street corner hawking jewelry. I've had 4 overdoses. I have 7 felonies on my record. The only thing I remember is glass hitting me and a police officer grabbing me. They found me 2 miles away, overdosed in my vehicle, crashed on the side of the road. When I came through, I was in handcuffs, in the back of an ambulance, on my way to the hospital, and then on my way to jail. He said, "Homeboy, you've been dead for 30 seconds."
Powerful stuff. You're looking at Chris Herren, author of Basketball Junkie, founder of Hoop Dreams with Chris Herren. Good to see you, Chris.
Good to see you.
Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, no worries.
Powerful story. We were just talking before off the air. That was a clip from ESPN documentary.
Unguarded.
Unguarded. Thumbnail sketch of your story. You're a great basketball player playing high school ball where?
Fall River, Massachusetts. Grew up in Massachusetts, and that's where I played high school and eventually went on to college. My
basketball town, right?
Champion, title town.
and you were I was going to say you were, we can't say that word on PBS, but you were it.
Yeah, I was it.
You got recruited.
Big time. I'm McDonald's All-American, top 10 in the country, you know, every school recruiting.
Yeah.
You know, I had all doors were open.
Yeah, you go to play where?
Boston College.
Yeah. So you go to play Boston College, and how did things work out?
Not well. I was introduced to cocaine at 18. Said I'd do it once at a party in my room, and 14 years later, you know.
The spiral was out of control, but you also went out and you continued to play some college ball after that. Play for Jerry Tarkanian.
Yeah.
Talk about that.
I moved 3,000 miles cross country to kind of get away. The addiction came with me. Spent 3 years in Fresno. Did well on the court, not so well off the court, and but well enough to where I'd get drafted. You know.
How did you get to the Celtics?
I played my rookie season in Denver, and I got a phone call from Rick Pitino saying, "We just made a trade for you. You know, welcome home. Come back." So.
You're a 6'3" guard.
Yep.
And you're a good point guard. Handle the ball well. Get the ball to other people. You could shoot. Smart vision for the game, right? People knew you could play, but they also knew you had this problem.
Sure.
Well documented. What's it like when you step onto the court up in Celtic land?
To be honest with you, I don't have much recollection of it, because I was under the influence of you know, 1,600 milligrams of OxyContin on a daily basis. So those memories for me, I cherish being a Celtic today. I'm grateful for it. Nobody can take that away. But when I was a Celtic, I had no feelings towards it. You know, I did the press conference, I held my jersey, I smiled, I said I couldn't wait for the opportunity, I could care less about the opportunity. I could care less about it. All I could care about was getting high.
Do you believe you're one of those people who were your genetic makeup, whatever you want to describe it, that you were destined, if you were going to do it once, you were going to be a junkie?
Yes. I believe that you're genetically predisposed to the gene of addiction. You know, it's in my family, as it's in most today. And, you know, I knew right away at 18 years old when I did it once that I was off.
We got another clip from Unguarded, the ESPN documentary. By the way, folks, you can log on to ESPN. Can people find it?
Yeah, sure. People can find it on Amazon, and I'm sure ESPN.com.
Let's go to the clip.
And at the time, there was times when I would come into the arena playing against Texas or UMass, you know, 12 o'clock, noon, and I'd be in a car with 2 girls that I have no idea their names, and I hadn't slept yet, and I'm doing my last line of cocaine as I'm walking into the arena. And I hadn't ate anything, I haven't done anything, and the last thing I drank was a Budweiser. My junior season, UMass was coming back for revenge at Fresno. I was out the whole night before.
I think it was like a 4 o'clock game. He called me at like 7:30 in the morning. And I know it was high as a kite. And I'm like, you got a game on national television, man, against UMass.
Herren on the front court, working against Mack. Takes it inside, Smith. Herren.
he played great.
Herren. Herren reversed it, going to the bucket for a pair.
Chris had a sensational game, and our arena was rocking. Our fans were really into it.
Big victory here for the Bulldogs tonight over UMass, and a personal win for Chris Herren.
And that happened on a Saturday night. And Monday afternoon, we were in the office, and our compliance guy came up and told me Chris tested positive.
Chris, I got to tell you, our producer, Natalie Stanley, who produced this segment, was watching the film. She kept saying, you got to watch this, you got to watch this. And we've got to show that segment. She was blown away by it. I'm sure it's impacting a lot of people right now, but the question becomes, for you who have seen this countless times, who and what the heck do you see when you're looking at that?
It's tough to see. It's tough to watch.
Do you recognize that as you?
Of course I do. I will never look away from that person. You know, I'll never turn my back on that, because if I do, I'll forget. So I know who he is. You know, I just choose differently today, you know, one day at a time.
But real quick, by the way, you've been sober for how long?
Almost 4 years.
Okay. This, right, as we do this program. But the really positive part about this incredible story of yours is you're doing a lot of work to try to turn things around. Describe the work you're doing, the organization.
Sure. You know, well, I started a nonprofit, the Herren Project.
The Herren Project.
Yeah, because Chris Mullen saved me. Chris Mullen and his wife reached out to me and made the phone call.
Chris Mullen from right here in St. John's, right?
Absolutely. The Mullen family reached out to me after they saw this on ESPN when I had overdosed almost 4 years ago, and said, we're in a position to help you. Take our offer. Go.
Overdose when they found you in the car.
Yes, yes. So they called me in the hospital and said, we have a place for you in New York. We want you to go, called Daytop. Jumped in the car and I went. If it wasn't for Chris Mullen and his wife picking up the phone that day, I probably wouldn't be here. So the Herren Project was started for addicts who hit bottom, out of money, no insurance. We'll pay for them to go away.
Why'd you do that?
Why? Because
Why do you do that?
Because I know what it's like to be at the bottom with nothing, you know, and I know what the healthcare system does. I mean, in Massachusetts, 2 people die a day of an overdose. The average length of stay in a treatment center for an opiate abuser is 4 days. Something's wrong there. To me, that's inhumane. I walked into a hospital, found overdosed in a vehicle. They discharged me 15 minutes later. Really? There's something wrong there. So I believe in this. I believe treatment can save your life, and I want to be Chris Mullen. I want to be that guy. I want to be the guy that can look from afar and say, I connected that family. I had a piece of it, a small piece, you know, just that first step.
What's Project Purple?
I spoke at a high school. 6 little kids walked in the front row, introduced themselves as the sober students of the school. They had purple shirts on. It blew my mind because the whole crowd laughed at them, 1,800 kids.
Is that Project Purple right there?
That is one, yes. That's one school. We had 300 schools go purple this year.
What's it all about?
It's just about kids making good choices, and not only the kids that make good choices, the kids who want to make good choices, and the kids that want to be forthcoming about their problems, making this okay to talk about it. And, you know, I experience this every day, traveling around the country speaking. It's powerful stuff. These kids, they got their backs up against the wall, you know, and nowadays it's not easy to be a kid.
You have kids of your own. Mm-hmm. How much do you, what's your relationship like with them now?
It's beautiful. The greatest gift of my recovery is watching them recover.
Watching them recover
from this illness, from this disease. My son walked around at 12 years old, 11 years old, 10 years old on eggshells. Just was waiting for the shoe to drop. Today he walks around with some pep in his step.
You watched, Natalie just reminded me in my ear that you watched this documentary Unguarded on ESPN with your son. Your son, Chris?
Yes, Christopher.
How old was he?
He was 12. He was getting ready to turn 13. And I had this DVD in my back pocket for about 2 weeks, and I was dreading it. You know, I was like, oh man.
I can't imagine this.
Yeah. So I grabbed Samantha, who's 10, and I grabbed Christopher, and I say, come on, we're gonna go watch
Your
something.
son and your daughter.
We sit on the couch, and the laptop's on me. The opening scene of this documentary is me catching alley-oops, and
Yep.
you know, and I'm like, perfect, this is great, highlights, you know. And then this woman says, former Celtic, found overdosed in a drive-through Dunkin' Donuts.
It's a newscast.
Yeah, newscast. And Christopher starts just bawling. So I'm like, oh man, this is not gonna be easy, you know? So we cried. We laughed, we watched highlights, and by the end of it, it was a healing moment, because he looked at me and said, I knew all this, I'm just happy it's not there no more.
Yeah. Listen, you know, you're first of all, congratulations.
Yeah, no doubt.
On your sobriety, your family, your work, and the work that you're going to continue to do helping other people. And I know you helped a lot of people coming here.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you, brother.
This special edition of One-on-One with Steve Adubato is brought to you from the Tisch WNET studios at Lincoln Center. Funding has been provided by Hackensack University Medical Center, Bloomfield College, offering small classes and big opportunities since 1868, New Jersey Manufacturers Insurance Group, auto insurance, homeowners insurance, and banking under the principle of stewardship, and by Verizon Communications. Promotional support provided by The Record, North Jersey's trusted source, and NorthJersey.com. Transportation provided by Airbrook Limousine, serving the metropolitan New York, New Jersey area. One-on-One with Steve Adubato has been produced in partnership with St. Joseph's Healthcare System.